Hello and welcome to a Heard on a Podcast, our little corner of the Wild West. My name is Isaiah.
And my name is Riley. This book is banned. And we're going to talk about some other books too that are banned. That's actually the whole idea tonight. And we've got our lovely, recently promoted executive producer here to help us.
What a good raise you got from that.
Lo. All right, you're in charge. We're going to get started with, let's first describe the game.
Okay.
Lo is going to read to us banned books, banned by someone. Maybe it was a local government. Maybe it was a school board. Maybe it was a whole country.
Not the whole book. Just a list
I don't
of
have
books.
any that are from a whole country. It's all U.S. based.
Okay.
Oh.
U.S.-based book bannings, and we are in a competition to try to guess why they were banned. And Lo will assess points as she deems appropriate.
I didn't know books could be banned in the United States.
Books can't be banned in the United States.
Okay,
Technically,
good to
these are
know.
not banned books. They are books that have been challenged, but we all call them banned books.
It
And
would have been less catchy if I said, this book is challenged. Especially considering what book it is. Anyway, let's get started with our first book.
Okay, it's a little bit of a softball for the first one.
Great.
It is a picture book called And Tango Makes Three by Peter Parnell and Justin Richardson, illustrated by Henry Cole. It's a children's book based on the real-life story of two male chinstrap penguins, Roy and Silo, who formed a bond at the Central Park Zoo. After zookeepers saw the pair trying to hatch a rock as if it were an egg, they gave the penguin couple their own egg. Why do you think this book was banned?
Because it's got gay penguins.
Yeah.
LGBTQIA plus content, correct.
Right. And so that's a premise, even in a picture book, even among non-humans.
It was removed from shelves
Hmm.
in a library because parents got mad. And that will be the constant theme through this.
Right. I mean, that's why books are challenged generally, is because parents don't.
Won't you think of the children?
Right. Think of the children. They'll assume that all penguins are gay.
Yeah. And then how will we reproduce because of
Exactly.
gay penguins?
Go see the penguins now because they can never
They're gonna
make
go
another
extinct.
generation.
Okay, you guys have to keep track of your own points. Riley, you have
Oh.
a point because you went first. You got it.
Nice.
All right.
I keep track of my 0.
So there are some that are banned for multiple reasons. They've been challenged for multiple reasons. So for each one of those reasons you guys list and are correct, you'll get a point.
And to clarify, the faster we ring in, the better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, this next one is called Stamped: Racism, Anti-Racism, and You by Ibram X. Kendi and Jason Reynolds. He's also the one who wrote How to Be an Anti-Racist, if you've seen that one.
Yeah, I remember this book, Stamped, being like in 2020 when all the white people were like, we need to read books about racism. This was the main one that was
Absolutely.
touted.
Absolutely. Do you want a little tagline that it says?
Yeah,
That'd
I
be
don't
helpful.
actually know what it's about.
Yeah, sure. So it says, This
Racism.
is not a history book. This is a book about the here and now, a book to help us better understand why we are where we are, a book about race. So it kind of talks about like a race journey from then to now, shows how we feel, why we feel how we feel, and the poison of racism lingers.
Well, people don't like to address that racism exists.
So what is the reason you think it's been challenged? Racism?
More specifically, critical race theory. I know that that's a hot topic in certain communities, and I don't actually know exactly what it is.
One of the reasons is because they were challenged because of the critical race theory. They did not want that to be a part of the curriculum. Well done. But there are other reasons. Isaiah, do you have any ideas?
I bet you the author's name is too hard to pronounce, so they were like, "Let's get that out
Isn't
of the
that
library."
also racism?
Yes.
No, babe. No.
Okay. Just trying to be creative.
Maybe it promoted false ideas.
You're really close. I feel like I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
So this book was banned and challenged because of authors' public statements,
Okay.
just like the political
Like what they
Like
said
him as a
separate
person.
from the
Yep.
book?
Yeah.
Correct. And because of claims that the book contains selective storytelling incidents and does not encompass racism against all people.
So it's because it's talking about racism for one people group and not how everyone.
Isn't that what racism is?
Like, don't include everyone in racism. Damn it.
Exactly.
Also, the idea of banning a book because of what the author did outside of the book is crazy. Like, with that mindset, then we should ban like most political books or like many business books.
I understand to an extent because, like, I don't know, like, technically, like, Hitler's bibliography isn't banned. His biography isn't banned, but
It's not like on
you
library
probably
shelves.
you probably shouldn't like go reading it. Like, it's not.
Well, I think a biography historically looking at Hitler's life is a different kind of book than like Mein Kampf.
Okay, well, what if he wrote like How to Be a Nazi 101? Would you want that to just be like put in schools?
No, but I think that could be challenged because it's about racism in the book. It's not like based on if Hitler wrote a book and it was like my artistic drawings over the years, banning or challenging it would be because of who he was outside of the book, not because of the contents of the book itself.
That makes sense.
I think this kind of starts a whole different conversation about like art versus the artist, as we talk about like music and like R.
deep.
Kelly
That
or
could be a different podcast.
feel like
Michael
that should be.
Jackson and the bad things that they've done.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, moving
So,
on.
okay, so do we
Each
get
got
a point?
Yeah, you each get a point.
Okay, sweet.
Yep, well
Okay.
done. Okay, the next one is called Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. Have you heard of that?
Isn't
By
that a
Jonathan
movie?
Safran.
Did it become a
Foer?
movie?
It did become a movie. Actually, quite a few of these became movies, which is surprising.
So they got banned.
It's about, there's like themes about 9/11.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, do you want me to tell you a little bit about what it is?
Yeah, can you
Okay.
is there more about
Yeah.
the book?
So it was a 2005 book turned into a major film in 2012. What the back of the book reads: in a vase in a closet, a couple of years after his father died in 9/11, 9-year-old Oscar discovers a key. The key belonged to his father. He's sure of that. But which of New York's 162 million locks does it open? So begins a quest that takes Oscar, inventor, letter writer, and amateur detective across New York's 5 boroughs. Blah, 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 blah. Will it take him any closer to or further from his lost father?
I'm gonna guess that it like has a conspiracy theory about like who caused 9/11 or like what happened.
That's an interesting idea.
That is an interesting
I
theory.
could not think of a reason why Americans would want to suppress a story about 9/11. And at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if the same people who post every year the like never forget meme, it's not a meme, but it's kind of a meme,
is at this point.
would also want to challenge this book.
Okay. Any others that you guys want to share?
Maybe like gruesome depictions of like violence or something.
I'm gonna guess prejudice against New York City.
0 points to both of you.
Dang.
So it's been banned in multiple school districts across America. And the reasons vary, but mostly it's because of extremely vulgar detailing sexual acts.
Well, you didn't mention that in the description.
And in the research that I did, it said it was very difficult to find specific passages in the book which supported those claims. There is a scene where Oscar's grandfather spoke about his experience with a prostitute or seeing some genitalia, but that's it.
The grandfather did?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like hearsay of someone else's story?
Mm-hmm. Sharing those parts of his story.
Okay.
Yep, and that is the reason.
Was that in the incredibly close part?
Good one. Okay, next one. Perks of Being a Wallflower.
I've never actually seen or read this
I
book.
think I've seen the movie, at least part of it. It's got Emma Watson in it, so
You like it.
so I like it.
It was first published in 1999. It's kind of about like what it's like to grow up in high school. It's like a kid's letters. And it just is sort of that coming of age. It says, caught between trying to live his life and trying to run from it puts him on a strange course through uncharted territory. The world of first dates and mixed tapes, family dramas and new friends. The world of sex, drugs, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show, when all one requires is that perfect song on that perfect drive to feel infinite.
Well, go ahead.
This isn't the one that like glorified suicide, right? That was something else that got banned. 13 Reasons Why, right? I think so.
Is that a book? Maybe. I don't know.
So that's not my guess. I'm gonna guess because of drugs.
I'm gonna guess because of drugs and teenage sex specifically. But any sex is a problem. But especially teenage
You heard it here
sex.
first, folks. Any sex is a problem.
Okay, so Riley got 2, Isaiah got 1. Isaiah, if you had stuck with the suicidal content, you would have gotten another point.
Dang it.
So it was sexuality, drug use, and suicidal content.
I think
missed out there.
I think even if the moral at the end of the book is suicide is harmful to many people, it's still like referencing that it exists. And just like obviously like these videos aren't monetized, we're not scared about being demonetized, but I'm thinking as we're recording this episode, like we can't even say the word suicide without it being like flagged on platforms like YouTube.
Yeah. Now people say unaliving yourself, which
Right.
is worse.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like a positive contribution to the
Yeah.
mental health discussion.
No.
Right, and part of this whole conversation is as we're talking about like why these books were banned, are we trying to stop people from talking about these things? Are we trying
Right.
to
Obviously.
like
Suppress everything.
right, are we saying like kids don't experience this or we don't want kids to know about this? Like maybe I could get on a soapbox.
Yeah, and like that kind of goes into like I read like an article today that was saying like 22% of Gen Z that were surveyed in this like study think that the Holocaust is like a conspiracy theory and didn't happen. And I'm like
22%?
22%
What?
think that the Holocaust is like a conspiracy theory that people made up. And that's what happens like when things are suppressed and not talked about is like people don't think that they're real and they don't remember things that happened and like they don't understand what people have done and what like evil things can happen in the world, you know? So it's
I'm
like
shocked by that statistic.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. On that note, I'm going to skip a few and go to that. So let's talk about The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank.
Oh, you have it here.
We do.
We
Does everybody
own
know what
banned
it's about?
books.
Anne Frank.
I'll read the back.
Okay.
This is Anne Frank's extraordinary diary written in the Amsterdam attic where she and her family hid from the Nazis for 2 years. It's become a world classic and a timeless testament to the human spirit. I could go on, but that's basically what it's about. It's letters that she wrote, or not letters, a diary that she wrote for herself
That she kept, yeah.
while she was hiding in an attic.
She got it before. She started the diary before that happened.
Okay.
It's a good book. Highly recommend. Why was it banned?
I'm gonna guess fascism / Nazism and anti-Semitism.
Semitism?
Yes. Yikes. And just racism in general. I'm gonna guess 3 things.
Okay. None of those were right. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh.
I'm gonna guess I've not read it, but I think the Diary of Any Young Girl describes their like the changes happening in their body and their life, and so I'm gonna guess some sort of like sexual content.
Well done. Isaiah, anything to add to that?
It's banned because of puberty.
Literally.
I mean, I don't know, but
So descriptions of Frank's anatomy, her anatomy,
mhm.
Romantic feelings that she expressed for a female friend, and the sexual feelings that begin to come up. So there's an interesting story that I found that in 2023, a teacher was fired because they had their students read the graphic novel of Diary of a Young Girl.
Hmm.
And there's a section where she like reflected on her own genitals and wanted to see a female friend's breasts. And so this teacher got fired.
It's a lot to get fired for a book that someone wrote like so long ago. That's not your book.
right. And it's, I would argue, like got important content. Like we were just talking
Like the
about,
Holocaust.
like people literally don't believe
Yeah.
that kind of thing happened.
Yeah.
So to read firsthand accounts of someone's actual experience, it feels wrong to not let that voice be heard.
Yeah, but she has a body, so obviously it has to get banned.
I know she should have only written like
A girl with a body.
Yeah.
right.
There you go.
Should have only written like highbrow philosophical
Right.
ponderings.
Well, she was hiding in a basement
Right.
from Nazis.
I'm going to pivot real hard here.
Okay.
Captain Underpants.
Because of underpants.
Captain Underpants series written and illustrated by Dav Pilkey. Do you need like a little
Yes,
synopsis?
please.
No.
Okay. Did you read it?
The first one or two.
I wasn't allowed to.
We're
so
on,
it was
like,
banned for
I
me.
wasn't allowed to
We're
either.
on Captain Underpants 17. No, I got those at the Scholastic Book Fair and didn't tell my mom about it.
Oh.
No, I don't think she would have cared.
You'll find out, I guess.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Two fourth grade boys who write comic books and love to pull pranks find themselves in big trouble. Mean Mr. Krupp, their principal, videotapes George and Harold setting up their stunts and threatens to expose them. The boys' luck changes when they send for a 3D hypno ring and hypnotize Krupp, turning him into Captain Underpants, their own superhero creation.
Okay, I'm going to say depictions of extortion, underpants,
Mm.
and annoying to parents.
Yeah, I would say annoying to parents as well. Like,
Like they just say like, I don't know, the art style is offending me. Let's ban it. I don't
Right.
want my kids to be able to read this.
right. So I'll say that as well. I'm also going to say, what was I going to say? Spurning of authority.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm going to give Riley 1 point and Isaiah 2 points
Nice.
because I think the like parents and the spurning of authority, that'll count for 2 because the reason is it was perceived as encouraging disruptive behavior.
Mm-hmm.
But
There
not
you
underpants. It wasn't banned for underpants.
It wasn't banned for underpants, which I don't know. That's why I wasn't allowed to read it.
Yeah. But had your mom known that it also disrupted authority,
Mm.
that
man.
that might not have helped.
Dude, don't even get me started on That's So Raven.
Right. You can't
Uh-huh.
you can't watch anything that teaches a kid how to be sassy, and then they'll never be sassy.
It's magic.
Okay, next one. Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. It is a picture book. Going to another picture book.
Mm-hmm.
And
And a movie now.
And a movie. Yeah, but the book is really good. When I was a kid, I had this one memorized before I learned how to read. I loved it. Max, a wild and naughty boy, is sent to bed without his supper by his exhausted mother. In his room, he imagines sailing far away to the land of wild things. Instead of eating him, the wild things make Max their king.
Supporting the monarchy. Showing that there's positive repercussions of being a disruptive child, and monster racism.
I'm going to say...
I haven't read it in a long time.
I'm going to say promoting, like, running away from your parents.
Okay.
And promoting, like, fraternizing with strangers, even if they're
Mm.
strange animals.
Mm-hmm.
And also promoting the idea that you can talk to animals.
Witchcraft.
Or, like, endorsing schizophrenia. That kind of thing, you know?
I'm
Okay.
going to give you both just like a few points each because
Okay.
I think you kind of got there. So it has themes of witchcraft and the supernatural.
Okay.
And a psychiatrist or psychologist said that it was dark and traumatizing because Max is sent to bed without his dinner. So it's abusive.
These kids are getting soft.
I know there's like a point where, like, obviously child abuse is bad and, like,
That's a strong point.
yeah, it's a wild statement, I know,
Right.
but like, there's a line between like child abuse and just like normal discipline, and I feel like the line is getting pushed so far into like normal discipline, like it's gonna get to the point where it's like, how do you like any discipline at all is child abuse?
That's a
But
whole different podcast.
Different
episode.
soapbox. We'll save that soapbox for later. It can stay in the closet. Okay, so we each get 3 points then.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
I lost track of my
I have
points.
no idea.
I think you had 4 and I had 3.
Originally,
Okay.
I was just giving you each a point for, well, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Where the points don't matter.
They'll come up at the end and we'll see who wins.
Yeah. Okay.
A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Do you need me to read a synopsis?
Yes.
This is a book I have read.
Hmm.
When 19-year-old huntress Feyre kills a wolf in the woods, a terrifying creature arrives to demand retribution. Dragged to a treacherous magical land she knows only from legends, Feyre discovers that her captor is not truly a beast, but one of the lethal, immortal fairies who once ruled her world. At least, he's not a beast all the time. As she adapts to her new home, her feelings for the fairy, Tamlin, transform from icy hostility into a fiery passion that burns through every lie she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. But something's not right in the fairylands. An ancient wicked shadow is growing, and Feyre must find a way to stop it, or doom Tamlin and his world forever.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to say sex. Second of all, I'm going to say hunting, because she killed a wolf. Third of all, I'm going to say like a weird power dynamic in that she was like a captive, but then she falls for her captor and like that whole thing.
That's
You
what
know
makes
what?
it hot.
That's a great point. There is a strange power dynamic, and I don't endorse that. That is not the reason why, though. Though it should
People
be.
don't care about that.
Right, obviously.
More witchcraft.
Just adult themes and sexual content.
Just
Sex.
that.
Just that. Quite a lot of it, I'll be honest, through the whole series.
It sounds kind of like it gets into smutty territory.
Not just a little. Okay.
That's my wife.
Okay, next book. Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. Are you surprised that this one is banned?
Talking animals. That's no good.
Actually, yeah, the answer is talking animals was deemed blasphemous and unnatural. That's the whole reason.
Yeah, I mean, you could ban so many things.
Okay, but you know what I thought of when I read that? Narnia.
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Talking animals, but they're on God's side.
But they're god animals.
Right. The cute ones are on God's side, and the ugly ones.
I would love to argue that pigs are cute. I will argue all day about
Pigs
that.
are cute.
can be
Pigs are
cute.
on God's side, except for in the Old Testament. But but
In the
generally,
New Testament too. They kind of got yeeted off a cliff by some demons, you know?
oh,
do not
I
remember that.
forgot that story. Next episode is on that. But saying that a book shouldn't be read at all because there's talking animals, that gets rid of so many stories of like a thing that maybe doesn't normally happens.
Yeah,
That's like most of fiction
right. No fiction. Fiction is banned.
and a lot of nonfiction too. Just don't read books.
No, that is not the moral of this story.
No, read all the books that you're not supposed to.
What?
We're getting a call real quick. Just a second.
Oh, Siri heard me say demons, and she was playing Demons by Imagine Dragons. Nice.
How many more do we have time for?
Oh,
3 more.
3 more. Okay. I'm gonna rope these two into one. So have you guys heard of Toni Morrison?
No. Is that
So-
bad?
I'm a little bit disappointed in you. But it's okay.
Are they
so-
revolutionary?
She is quite revolutionary. She won a Nobel Prize, a Pulitzer Prize. Says Morrison's unforgettable novel is one of the great and enduring works of American literature.
What's the novel?
There's one called Beloved. I think if you guys see the covers, you'll recognize them.
Okay.
But Beloved by Toni Morrison and The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. The first one, Beloved, is about someone who was born a slave and then escaped, and just kind of like as she works at beating back her past, but it makes itself heard. There's a secret that gets exposed. Honestly, I haven't read these, so I shouldn't judge you guys. And then Bluest Eye is about a girl that prays for her eyes to turn blue so that she will be as beautiful and beloved as all the blonde, blue-eyed children in America. Her
Nazis.
life changes in painful, devastating ways. There's a lot of tragedy.
Mm.
It is one of her most powerful, unforgettable novels and a significant work of American fiction. But banned.
I'm going to say racism.
What does that mean, though? What do you mean by that?
Or just racism.
It sounds like it's written by a person of color.
It is, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
So the racism is their experience of racism and writing about it.
I was thinking more about the one that was like when she was born a slave and just kind of like writing about that. Yeah. Especially, yeah. So that's gonna be one of my guesses. I'm also gonna guess like sexual themes,
That's a good guess for any book.
basically.
Charlotte's Web, I should have mentioned it there.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything more to add based on this synopsis that you just read.
Sure. So violent and graphic scenes,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
some sexual, some not.
So are these, maybe it varies, but are these challenged in like elementary schools or like public school systems in general, or the like public like an adult can't check this out because it was challenged?
I think these are all different. Like I looked at like a few different lists and they all had different reasons. I didn't include like the year or like where exactly.
I can understand wanting to control a little bit of what fourth graders are reading.
Yeah.
But to say it's not going to be part of the government library system where that anyone can have access to is a whole different
But
story
that's
to me.
something that's like, where's the line? If you're controlling what fourth graders are reading, can you control what fifth graders are reading? Can you control what seventh graders are reading? Like, can you control what 12th graders are reading? Like, where is the line and on what about what things? I
And
think
who
that's-
decides?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't have answers to these questions.
If I could answer that, I would be not doing a podcast. I'd probably be like writing a letter to my congressman or something.
Okay, the next one is The Breakaways by Kathy G. Johnson. So it's a graphic novel about the story of a girls' soccer team. It's actually a really cute cover. Looks like a pretty quiet book.
It's like a young adult book, or
yeah.
okay.
It's a graphic novel. So quiet, sensitive Faith starts middle school and is already worrying about how she will fit in. To her surprise, Amanda, a popular 8th grader, convinces her to join the soccer team. The Bloodhounds. Having never played soccer in her life, Faith ends up on the C team, a ragtag group that's way better at drama than teamwork. Although they're awful at soccer, Faith and her teammates soon form a bond both on and off the soccer field that challenges their notions of loyalty, identity, friendship, and unity.
First of all, Bloodhounds, that's violent.
Yeah, very violent.
Second of all, I'm going to guess that there's some sort of like inner monologue of the main character that has to do with something about sexuality. Or maybe a better, more bold guess would be they are attracted to someone else, on another female on their team.
I concur.
Okay, so it says banned it for its depiction of trans kids, sexual content, and discussion of Black Lives Matter.
Just like talking about it in general.
Just discussion
I didn't
of
read it. I
trans
read it.
kids.
But, yep, discussion about those things.
So it's a pretty modern, recently written book.
I don't have the year that it was written, but it was banned in 2021-2022 school year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This podcast would be banned.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, 100%.
That
Most
makes me
of
happy.
our episodes would be.
I love it.
That's why it's called the Wild West of the internet, though. There's not a lot of regulation.
Because they
At
can
least-
suck it.
At least there's not on like Spotify.
If we get banned from Spotify, we'll make our own like RSS feed.
That would be
We'll
pretty
stay.
cool.
We'll stay up.
actually.
Do you guys want me to just go through and let you know the last ones and tell you why?
Let's do lightning round.
Yep.
Lightning round. Okay. Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood.
Depictions of rape and other sexual abuses and other abuses and old people
Oh, that doesn't fit very well.
separately,
Uh,
or maybe I don't
Violence,
know.
profanity, and sexual activity.
Okay.
Not old people.
Looking for Alaska by John Green.
Oh, I have read this.
You read this?
Well, someone dies, so violence, and also like sexual content.
Profanity and sexually explicit scenes in the book. 13 Reasons Why, which Isaiah already
suicide.
said. Suicide, sexual assault, drug and alcohol abuse. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Have you guys heard of this?
I've heard the title.
I've heard of it. It was a book similar to like 13 Reasons Why that also became like a show or a movie. Once again, there's sexual content and drugs.
Seems like a recurring theme.
Yeah,
Yep.
just a little bit.
Absolutely. Honorable mention, the most banned book is called Genderqueer, a memoir. I'm sure you can guess why.
The most banned, like,
Mhm.
in the world.
It's
What
like
about, like-
the one in the U.S. in schools that is
Oh,
the like
okay.
most challenged. How about that? The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian deals with poverty, sexuality, bullying, alcohol usage, profanity, the use of slurs, gambling, underage drinking, and for its religious viewpoint.
Yeah, don't talk about poor people.
Don't talk about
'cause-
poor people or people who have a different religion than you or money. That's crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of those are obviously problems. The basis to challenge any book and try to suppress a person's voice is crazy, but some of those were extra crazy.
There's one called All American Boys by Jason Reynolds and Brendan Kiley, and it was banned because of its explicit racial content and depiction of law enforcement.
like,
Ooh.
just showing them in general.
Or
Like,
not
Not
saying the
showing them
police
in-
are here. Let's praise the heavens. Anyway, separate podcast.
That's all, folks.
All right. Now we know what to avoid writing about. So I challenge you to write a story with more than 20 words that won't offend someone.
Mm.
I challenge you to read and buy some of these books.
Yep. What's your challenge?
My challenge is for us to get canceled, so we have to make our own outlaw RSS feed.
Oh, okay. That would be pretty cool.
What else can we say to get canceled?
Report this video.
Yeah, please. It's right here.
Thank you for listening to I Heard It on a Podcast. We've got new episodes every Monday, wherever you find podcasts, including YouTube.
Yeah. And if you'd like to connect with us, we're on Instagram and Threads. And you can also email us if you want to chat with us at hello@ihearditonapodcast.com.